Good evening, everybody. Okay, we're still looking at the same scenario. The markets are not changing their stripes. The investor sentiment is uh, still heading up in the Dow. At the same time, we saw some selling in the NASDAQ, but nothing of any great magnitude. So when you see buying in one index and selling in another, pretty much tells you nothing has really changed in investor sentiment. There's just some shifting going on. And usually that shifting is still going to continue the market trend in the direction it's already moving in. With that, we're watching crude oil prices. Crude oil prices gapped up, but you can see where it's gapped. It's right smack dab at the level that it peaked out before. And if we make this whole chart smaller, just kind of be aware that they gapped it up, did a doji type day. Right now, after hours, well, it's trading down a little bit. So that should give you kind of the forewarning that maybe they've gapped right up to the resistance level. Had they closed here, they told us they broke through. If they start backing this off, we can see where the trend channel is. That's why it looked like some of the oils were starting to show some weakness today. Gold, as you can see, has not done anything to show there's any major change of direction. We're watching coffee. Starting to show some little bit of signs of buying down here. So watch your 10-minute or your T-line area. And we started taking some of the our lean hog trade off the table. Still stuck with that. But today, looks like they came back up through. So right now we might start buying back. However, there's a more compelling chart over in the live cattle. Basically, you can see everything that this has been doing. Came up through the 50, came back to the 50 area, acted as support, went to the 200. Now doing our bobble pattern. This one you should get ready to buy on positive trading tomorrow. All right, so let's take a run through some of the stocks that we're trading. We can see the AMD has got a very obvious chart pattern. There's our little scoop J-hook, still heading higher. That kind of showed up over in this chart. See the scoop. Now you can see the doji sandwich. I would suspect that BKCC has a good prospect of going right to the 200. Whiting was one of those oil stocks that did a big bearish engulfing belt hold. So if it starts trading lower tomorrow, if you're trading this one, you probably want to take some off the table. And Cork also did a left-right combo today, which means if this is confirming, they open it lower, you want to take your profits, and then just wait to see what they do here at the T-line. Same scenario, an AK Steel closed below the T-line. If you didn't close it today, if it opens lower tomorrow, you close out the position. To stay in it, just very simple. It has to open positive and trade positive to stay in it. CRR, still acting well. That's because we had our best friend signal, kind of our bobble pattern, T-line crunch, still heading higher. I wouldn't look at AK Steel for a short just yet. First of all, I want to make sure it moves away from the T-line because The longer something stays above the T line, the more, the more evidence you want to see that the T line is not acting as support anymore. And court, this is still a good-looking chart. You can see all the indecision bouncing off the 50, the morning star signal, bullish confirmation. This still can be bought aggressively on a positive open tomorrow. That's a very good-looking chart. Square was still holding up pretty well. As you can see, it hasn't pulled back even to the T-line yet, and the pullback right now is very indecisive, so it's not like they're bailing out of this one. And ITCI needed to stay up above the T-line, which it just barely did, but very simple. We know it's going to move in the direction of how they open it. After a doji, we better see it open positive tomorrow to stay in it. Oh, whoops. HBM should have been closed out today. When you have that much dojis up here and then a close below the T-line, it's telling you they ran out of steam. You can always buy it back on positive trading. Yeah, the bios are, a lot of the bio stocks are not getting any great enthusiastic buying. We were going to buy PGNX had it opened positive today, the J-hook pattern. Didn't confirm. Nothing has happened on this one. CLD, if it opens lower tomorrow, you want to close it out. Not necessarily because it's closing below the T-line, but you can see what happened to the trajectory. If they have enough selling strength to close it back below the T-line after this type of move, it's telling you they're not taking it up right now. Close it out and move on to something better. And CEMP, another one is basing and staying above the T-line, but same scenario. You have a doji right here, kind of at the point of a little wedge. You want to see this open positive tomorrow to stay in it. AVXL, there's your bobble breakout. Not a very high price stock, but the volume is good. That one I wouldn't be afraid to be buying. You can see the big fry pan bottom. You can see the bobble breakout. You can see the doji sandwich type setup. That one should have a lot more upside to it. And AKAO, I'm showing this one because somebody asked today whether they should be buying it. And at that point, I think it was trading right about in here. So if there's something huge on a breakout like this, and you're sitting there wondering, should I be buying it? It's already up 100%. Just flip to your 10-minute chart. Might not be buying it right in here because it looks iffy, but it doesn't look iffy here, and it doesn't look iffy here. Might look iffy here, but it doesn't look iffy here. So you can still use your 10-minute chart to say, all right, are they selling it off after a big percent move? Well, if the answer is no, just do your same rules. You don't want to see a candlestick sell signal and a close back below the T-line. AGI, even though gold isn't moving very much, whoops, we're on the 10-minute chart. You do have a doji best friend breakout. If it opens positive tomorrow, you can still be buying this one. IMMU, you can see the classic fry pan bottom, J-hook pattern, and notice how they got the J-hook pattern started with kind of a bullish doji sandwich with a gap up. And where did the gap up occur? Right as they're going into the resistance area. So just think of the logic there. If they're buying this one knowing this is the resistance and they're gapping it up going into that range, pretty much tells you they don't have any real fear about that recent resistance level. If this is wave 1, wave 3 should take you much higher. NEO, there's another J-hook pattern. You can be buying this one on positive trading, at least expecting a 45 degree off of here. And here's MTL with a gap up steel group. If it opens positive tomorrow, observe the obvious. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, starting with a good enthusiasm. And Hudson. You can see the trend. You can see what they did right smack dab off the 50. A bullish Harami. Doji, doji, bullish confirmation. If they bring it up through this level, I can do this. Pointer tool, trend. They bring it up through this level. Wave 3 should take you back up into that area, which obviously is a good percentage move. And VCN. Big pop-up, consolidation. This is only a $2 stock or 2 1/4, but it's a good player since they broke it out. I would suspect you still have, without any major selling occurring, I'd buy this one on positive trading. I use today's open as my stop, but there's a good possibility you could pick up a good percentage move heading back up to the recent highs. QHC, another J-hook pattern coming right smack dab off the 50. There's a little doji sandwich telling us there's probably more upside. And NGVT, another J-hook pattern setting up with a bullish engulfing left-right combo, another bullish engulfing. If this is a 12-point move, look for this to go into about the $64 area. And showing this one, because notice how this one started with a gap up, then another gap up. Where do they? So we're up here in the overbought area and they gap it up. If you own this one, this is very simple. You put your stop here at the lows. If it comes back down through there, that was the exhaustion gap at the top. So that's why it's very important to learn how gaps work effectively with candlestick signals. And Fred, notice we had a belt hold signal. Notice how this one started with a little cradle pattern. T-line holding up, a belt hold signal. And remember what a belt hold does for us? Wipes out a lot of sellers. I would think this is still heading for the 200-day moving average because there won't be as many sellers in the way. And Cry, another J-hook pattern. Next target should be up here at least. And how come I can't even read my own handwriting? I think that's TEV. Nope. Don't know what the heck that is. All right, so some of the ones that have gotten dicey. Look at the evening star signal up here on PA. That tells me I'm getting ready to close this one out, especially on a lower open tomorrow. And Worthington, anytime you see an uptrend, they pull it back, they start it back up, but the next sell signal can't reach the recent high. Shows you they're failing here. I would suspect your next target after this little left-right combo gap down should be at least the 50-day moving average area. Had good trade up here and save. It was moving in the right direction. Then you had the shooting star. When it opened lower today, again, this is kind of the ultimate observe the obvious. If it opened lower after a shooting star, which is your sell, where do you think the next target's going to be? Right back to the T-line. You shouldn't be in it. You could always make another decision based upon what it does at the T-line area. WLB was another one that didn't hold the T-line today. So you can see this is starting to lose its luster. It needed to stay above the T line with the close below this level. Tells you to be out of this position. And EGLT, which was acting well, big bearish engulfing signal. Where did it pull back to? Right about the same level that it peaked out. So to stay in this one, it has to stay above the T line, and preferably you need to see it open positive and start trading positive. So we're getting a little bit, even though the Dow has headed up, the smaller indexes like the Russell and the NASDAQ starting to show a little bit of weakness. Not necessarily a reversal, just probably some pullback. So that means you might want to take a look at a few of the things that could help protect the downside. Depot, for example. There's your best friend of the downside. Doji gap down. You're right here, kind of in a support area. If it opens lower, you're continuing the downtrend. And CC had been a good long. Then you had the bearish Harami gap down. Where's your next likely target? Back down here to the 50, and also they could be coming back to the gap area. And a reversal in First Century Fox. You got a bullish Harami, long-legged doji. Tells you there's been a major change of investor sentiment, and then they told you which direction they were taking it. This one is a very high probability short. The bigger the signal, the more compelling there's been a change of investor sentiment. You consider IWM short-term overbought? Yeah. Not that it might be a full-scale reversal, but you're probably in for a little session like this. And a kicker signal on BGS. Where do you think the next target is going to be? Well, if you pretty much got this downtrending channel, probably at the bottom of the channel. Let me see if I can do this. Trend, kind of like this. Bottom of the trend channel. Whoops. Something like this. So your next logical target is somewhere down here. And ACAD, you can see when it came back up, you can see the failure here at the 200. Now you failed at the 50. This should be coming back down to test this level and possibly back down to the, again, the low end of the trend channel. And the reason we use trend channels is because that's what everybody else is kind of watching. So they go back to the support. Here's Dillard's. I suspect coming back down a little bit. Here is Guess. Little failure, best friend failure. At least look for the bottom right here, which would be another 10% to the downside. And this one, shooting star gap down. This one could have a good force all the way back to the 50-day moving average. BGS support. Well, if it opens lower, then there's not going to be any support at the 200. So this is where you want to watch. Remember, your kicker signal is one of your strongest signals, and your stochastics in the overbought area heading down. This, if it opens weaker, I would think your next target is probably somewhere down here in the $36 range. The NASDAQ, let's see. No, remember, stochastics have nothing to do with this. The stochastics just tell you where you are in the trend. So this level right here has nothing to do with this level right here. This level right here has to do with what's going on right here. This level right here. So stochastics aren't a divergence signal. They're just telling you where you are in the trend. Would Fibonacci's halt it before the moving average? Would Fibonacci's halt it before the moving average? It's right at the moving average. So it's not a question of whether it's going to halt it or not. You can throw the Fibonacci's on there. Obviously, right now, it doesn't look like the 200 is going to hold for two reasons. One, because the kicker signal is very strong as far as the sell signal. Two, you're already down below the 200. Stochastic's heading down. So it's not a function of whether one is going to support it or not. It's more of before the trend channel. No. That you don't know and that you don't care about. So what you're doing is, if you're going to see a Fibonacci retracement, which is one of these, that's where it could support, or it could support the trend down here somewhere. So you don't use the Fibonacci's or anything that is going to tell you that's probably where it's going to support. All you're doing is looking for where, if I see a buy signal, where is it occurring? Is it occurring on some sort of important technical level that everybody else is watching? Okay, that's about all I've got. I would suspect we're going to see a little bit of profit taking, but it may just be profit taking. It shouldn't be a trend reversal just yet. Yeah, fibs are just a possibility of where things could support. So, all right, with that, is there any other questions on candlesticks? General question. So if is the Russell 2000 showing an evening star, so where is the logical stop of an evening star? What do you mean, where is the logical stop of an evening star? If this is the signal, if today's candle is telling you the bears are taking control, you don't want to see it close more than halfway up this candle. If it closes more than halfway up today's candle, it's telling you the bears aren't in control yet. So it's evening star signal is telling you if it opens weaker tomorrow, it's probably still heading down. The Fed meeting is probably already built into the market. I guess they're almost at 100% assured that there's going to be a rate increase. That's probably already built into the market. Right now, there's nothing to tell us that the markets aren't in an uptrend. As I say, there might be some consolidation, but as you can see, the Russell, the NASDAQ were down. but the Dow is still trading higher. When you have that combination, it pretty much tells you that the markets haven't reversed. They're just shifting from sector to sector. Okay, I guess with that, Jim, go ahead and do the double line. And in 4.81 seconds, do the next double line. That is unusual. See the... All right, so the bond funds their bond prices are still heading down, which means interest. So that's telling you the rates are going up. So that's why you probably have a rate increase already built into this market, because the bond prices are already heading down. And AMAT, getting a little bit soggy up here. That pretty much tells you the only way you can stay long tomorrow is up on a positive open. If it opens lower, you probably want to close out the position. What's happening here to these charts? What is it? And the pro shares, you stay short until you see a confirmed buy signal above the closing above the T line. Natural gas, gap down today. If you were long, I would have taken or closed out the position with a close below the T line. You can always buy it back. But right now, I would suspect the prospects are that it's heading back to the 50-day moving average. AKRX. This one you can get ready to buy in positive trading. That best friend doji gap up. If I was going to buy, I'd buy on anything above today's open, which was 2053. If it trades above that level, tells me my next target is probably the 50. AMPE. Nice slow steady uptrend. What is happening to my charts? What's going on here? Maybe I've got them small. AMPE, you can see how it did the bobble breakout. Right now you just stay long until you see a sell signal. BDSI, not anything real great here as far as a chart. I'd be more apt at this point to be a buyer. I can't tell whether that was quite a bullish engulfing signal. I would still be a buyer after it closed above the T line. AMD, you just stay long, still working well. AT&T, not a very exciting one, but still heading in the right direction. So you can see what happened here at this bobble breakout. Now you got a double doji setup. I'm telling you, I'd look for at least a test of this level. Transports backed off a little bit today. Another one that I would suspect is coming back down to test the T-line area. Cody, this one I'd get ready to go short. You can observe the obvious. You're in a downtrend. They aren't hitting a new high. At least coming back to test the this little support level or heading for the lower end of the trend channel. Where did that one? Okay, AAN. Stay long. Did confirm the sell signal. So here's a one that if you had closed out, I'm going to sneeze. If you had closed this one out because it opened lower, thinking it was going back to the T line, and it started back up, you could already be buying it back. Again, off the 10-minute chart. We did Cork. This one, left-right combo, bearish. Get ready to close this one out on weakness tomorrow. ANGO, nothing exciting here. I wouldn't buy it until it does break out through here. I'd rather pay the high today was, I'd rather pay 20 or 17.35 for it, knowing that it broke out above that level. As of right now, there's just nothing spectacular about that chart. Amazon is caught in this wedge, so I wouldn't be long or short Amazon right now. Anytime you can see a wedge formation setting up, move on to something else until it breaks out. SP, you can get ready to buy this one on positive trading tomorrow, an inverted hammer, kind of doji gap up. You can buy this one on positive trading. Just use today's open as your stop. Apollo, that one's got a nice little scoop pattern. There's buying coming in. You can buy this one. This one came up on my chart a couple of days ago or over the weekend. Because of this kind of little scoop type pattern and breakout into new territory, something's happening. So you can be buying this one. OC, LR, the dark cloud failure. You should be out of this one as far as any longs were concerned. I don't know whether I'd go short. If you're going short on weakness tomorrow, just make sure it breaks this little support level. Apple, still above the T line, or above the 50. You stay long, but I wouldn't want to see it close back below the 50. That would kind of look ugly at that point. We did AK Steel. Oops. They may not have changed it over yet. Can't tell if it's still, is that today's trading? I can't tell whether they've changed it over yet. E-car, another one that might be ready to come back and test the T-line. Notice your belt held here, took out some of the selling. Freeport, that one I'd get ready to close out. You can see that there's no trajectory to it. Now you've got a left-right combo. If it opened lower tomorrow, I'd close out the position. You got another one where you could always buy it back on the next buy signal back up above the T-line. GPRE, just stay long. You're getting up here toward this resistance level. Oops, you are right there at the resistance level. This one you can be buying if it comes up through today's high. I'd be a buyer of 28.25, knowing it broke out to the upside. See, we did waiting. Pandora coming back to test the T-line. Blue. That's not a good-looking chart either. And did it close? Closed right at 70. It has to open positive. If you're long, it has to open positive tomorrow. If it opens lower, close out the position. IPXL. You can short it on weakness. First target is this little downtrending channel. But as you can see, they haven't done anything to get this back up above the T-line for a while. And MGI, just starting into the next wave. Notice your best friend signal started this uptrend. There's your kind of your little scoop type pattern. There's your doji sandwich. I would stay long on this until you see a sell signal, but I'd anticipate this being wave 1 going into wave 3. SEM, stay long on this one. Little scoop pattern in progress. IVC, stay long on this one. Wave 3 in progress. ZYNE kind of backed off today. it has to open positive and trade positive. If it opens lower, you can see there's nothing here to sink your teeth into as far as identifying a chart. Whoops, I skipped a couple here. ALXN for a short. Yes, kicker type signal to the downside. Be ready to short this. Notice where it failed. At the 200, gap down, I'd be ready to short this one. And EXPE, stay short, or you can go short. Just with the anticipation is going to come down here and test this level, which means you probably get close to the 200 or targeting the 200. And Twitter, nothing here. If you're long, it has to open positive tomorrow and trade positive. If it opens lower, you just don't have any direction on this one. I wouldn't necessarily go short on it because there's nothing to tell you there's any great movement to the downside. I just wouldn't be long. Baxter, you can buy this one. It's just not a very exciting looking chart. It's got a lot of uphill to kind of fight through. And SRCL, that's got the potential of trying to get through the 50. I would rather pay for it up here knowing that it's broken this downward channel. REGN, you can buy this one, but I'd be a buyer if it came back up through today's open. You do have the hammer signal followed by the bullish engulfing signal starting to gap up. There's a gap to fill right here, but I wouldn't be buying until they can get up through that through today's open to kind of offset today's profit taking. NGVT we already did. You can buy this one on positive trading on completing or continuing the J-hook pattern. NDSN. Right now, I suspect it's coming back to the 50 or this range. So if you're looking to short it, yeah, it's not one of your best looking shorts, but I definitely would not be long on this one. FGP, another one that has to open positive tomorrow to stay in it. If it opens lower, it's telling you the downtrend is still in continuation. And Cara, I wouldn't be long or short. Nothing showing here anymore. DA or DNAI. Oh, shucks. This one you should have been back out of. This one needed open positive and trade positive. You can't short it because it's below 1 or below 5, but I wouldn't be in it anymore. And ITCI has to open positive tomorrow. To stay in this one. When insider buying or selling is noted, what amount would that be to have to be reported? I think it's any amount. Anytime an insider is going to liquidate stock or buy stock, they have to report it. LXU, another one that has to open flat and trade positive. If it opens lower, they're coming back to test the T-line, making it not a real exciting situation. And EXEL, you get ready to short this one if it comes down through today's low. Marvell, same scenario, but more than likely it's only going to come back down and test the 50. If you're long, it has to open positive and trade positive immediately. And TEVA, yes, this is a possible, this one was on my list. It has to get fight through this level, though. So you definitely need to see it start trading positive. And MAC, nothing here. Yeah, just nothing. I mean, if you're going to short it, I wouldn't even try to short it. That's just a nothing chart. Occidental, you can stay long on this one, but again, if it opens lower, you're in a junky stage. I wouldn't be long or short this one right now. No, that was kind of looked like I can't tell whether that was a dark cloud. Yes, it was just barely a dark cloud, yes. And it confirmed today. NEO, I think we did. You can be buying this one in positive trading. Whiting has to open positive. Whoops. Has to open positive and trade positive to stay in it. AVGO, another one that doesn't look real spectacular either. With a trade in this direction. If you're long, it has to open positive tomorrow and do the 45 degree. If it opens lower, I'd close it out because it's telling you they're not coming out of this trading range. Bank of America, another one that's probably looking to come back and test the T-line. And Goldman, same scenario. So this is why it looks like there's some profit taking going on right now, which isn't unexpected after the run that we've seen in this market. Well, what the heck is going on here? NVGT. Oh, NVGT. That the right symbol? SRPT, nothing here. If you're short, you just stay short. KRE, they're regionals. There's a evening star signal. If this one opens lower tomorrow, I'd probably close it out. Micron, same scenario. It has to open positive tomorrow to stay in it. OPTH, that did a big gap down. There's nothing you can do there. Dropped excessively. Maybe play for a bounce. Jason, that's a whole different strategy. That's a real, is that a breakdown, or is that, did they do a reverse split? Or did they split the stock? That doesn't look good. And Hudson, you can get ready to buy this one on positive trading. That tells you the uptrend is remaining in progress. NVGT, you can buy this one on positive trading. And INVN, look for a 45 degree to come off of here, kind of probably the same trajectory as what this was. NetEase, just stay short. However, you've had a doji gap down. Well, you're not even in the oversold area. So right now it stays short. I wouldn't want to see it close back up above the T-line. All right, bad FDA trial. All right. Coles. Yeah, bearish engulfing confirmed. This one you can be going short on weakness tomorrow. It's not a left-right berry scoop. It's more than just you got the bearish engulfing signal up here. Okay, obviously this market is getting a little bit soft. Not so much over here, but over in the other indexes. Might see a little bit of consolidation back for a few days. All right, we're done early tonight. We're probably going to see, something on AVXL tomorrow. That's a good looking chart. And AGI, even though gold is not doing very well, that was your little best friend signal. At least look for a pop back up to the 50, and a couple of the shorts. Fox A probably heading down further on weakness, and BGS kicker signal could be heading all the way back down to the $36 area. All right, with that, everybody have a good evening. We will see you bright and early in the chat rooms tomorrow. We'll see you then.